When it comes to culture in the workplace, HR shouldn't be at the table. HR has to own the table. We need a strategy and a system that works. And one of the things for me is understanding that our leadership team often looks to us to say, yes, that's okay, and yes, you can do that. But we have to speak the language of our leadership team. And let me tell you exactly what I mean by that. Leadership and members of leadership think in terms of process, dollars, and improvement. And from an HR standpoint, culture, the humans at work belong to us. From that perspective, we need to start talking and owning the table that outlines the fact that civility is a problem and our employees are suffering. Productivity is reduced, and we are losing good people to bad behavior. And so when we talk about things like KPIs, it is important for us to put that into terms that our leadership team actually gets. What do I mean? The average cost of replacing an employee who has quit, according to SHRM, just for the recruiting element alone, we are talking about $4,700 to recruit a new employee. That doesn't include the training, the onboarding, the upskilling, the mentoring, or any of that. And so when we talk about the number of employees we've lost over the last 6 months, multiply that out. That's a number that should be presented directly to your leadership team. When we talk about unemployment, one of the things that each and every one of us knows is every time an unemployment claim is allowed, it costs no less than $6,000. Some say that number is upward of $15,000 to $20,000. Based on where you are, you should look at what an unemployment claim actually costs. And I want us to start strategically talking about the impact that incivility has on the workplace with our leadership team so that they get it, understand it, and are motivated to make the changes. The problem with culture is that we don't have a system. We do now, and I'm going to introduce a system to you that works. My name is Diane McDowell. I am a culture architect. I've worked in HR for the 27 years, and I am lending you my experience in fixing some of the most egregious issues in the workplace in my career. I've been called the catalyst of change. I've been called the Olivia Pope of HR. Why? Because I'm the HR consultant that companies call in when there's an issue that is seemingly impossible or needs a repair. And so one of the things for me is I literally wrote a book. That book is called Civility Unleashed, is HR's playbook for turning chaos into collaboration. And I want to give you a piece. And someone, when I was in the process of writing this book, said to me, don't give it all away. You got to keep some so that people come to you. And I said, you know what? My objective is to change the workplace. My objective is that our employees go to work in an environment that is better, that isn't painful, that they don't dread. And for the love of all things holy in the world, pizza parties don't solve the issue. Every single time a member of the leadership team says, well, I know morale is low, so let's have a pizza party on Friday, we are putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Our employees are begging us to fix the problem. And the system is one that I have used for probably the last 10 years. And I have lots of clients that I have implemented steps and measures in play so that we could solve the issues in the workplace. So I'm going to introduce you to two elements. The first one is the framework. The framework is called AIMS. AIMS stands for Assess, Implement, Mobilize Leadership, and Spark the Change. One of the things about AIMS is AIMS gives us a system that is repeatable. When we couple that with the operating system, when we put it with AIMS, The two of them work together. And when we put them in play and we use them together, then we begin to turn culture and sustain permanent change in the workplace. So the operating system: ask, implement, enforce, support. And these two go together and they are repeatable. And we look at them in 90 days so that we can sustain the change and not just put the Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. I learned something last week that was fascinating to me. Elephants eat coconuts whole. Now, typically, elephants will break the coconut, they'll pull out the meat and the juice and all of the goodness, but they love coconuts. And so if a coconut is small, an elephant will swallow the coconut whole. Their mouth is big enough, their digestive system is robust enough that they will break it down, they will digest the pieces that they need, and then the tough exterior, like the husk, will come out whole on the back end. That digestive process is painful for them. They can do it, but it is painful. It reminds me a lot like HR. And what I watch HR practitioners do is try to solve the problems in the whole. When we do that, we can solve the issue, but it makes it painful. And so you need a system that breaks it apart for you, that makes it make sense so that you can solve the issue and own the table of culture in the workplace every single day. It's holding people accountable for their behavior. Our employees are begging us. I've watched statistic after statistic where employees are saying, my supervisor didn't solve the problem. HR doesn't care. Employees are engaging in bad behaviors. In some ways, they're being rewarded for that bad behavior. We have individuals who are suffering, and they are suffering, some in silence. Some of them are suffering out loud. Another statistic that is troubling is that nearly 1 in 4 new hires cry during their first week. That's heartbreaking. And there's a lot of reasons for that, right? We use a lot of acronyms. The new workplace is confusing. But at the end of the day, did they get what they signed up for? Did we present to them a culture that is reflective of all the bells and whistles that came along with the recruiting effort? And if the answer to that question is no, we owe it to them to begin to solve the issue so that the culture and good for everyone across the board. When I walk into workplaces, I don't just see dysfunction, I feel it deeply. And one of the things for me, the employee who is withdrawn, the person who is angry, the individual who's constantly giving the side eye or smirking or making comments that are inappropriate, I feel it deep down and I want to solve it. But that is much bigger than me. If we are going to solve the issue globally across the board, it's going to take all of us. And so I've given you the blueprint. I've walked you through the steps. I've given you the examples. I've literally poured out of this work to teach you how to do it. The book, again, is called Civility Unleashed. It is HR's blueprint for turning chaos into collaboration with aims and the operating system. It is in pre-order right now. You can get it on our website, and I will put a link in this video so that you can get the book today. The other thing, and I want to say this, we understand from an HR standpoint, forming, storming, and norming. We understand that in the forming stage, the individual, the culture is new, we're learning, there's a transition. We understand that in the storming stage, there are disruptions. And there's a lot of disruptions in the workplace right now. SHRM says $2 billion a day are spent on the problem alone. So I'm going to give you a KPI. Incivility cost us $12 per day in lost productivity, in the morale breakdown, $12 a day. So if you take that number alone, multiply it out by the number of employees you have the number. And there's about 263 days per year in the work that people actually work. And so we literally have a number per employee per year. And I thought I wrote that number down, but for whatever reason I didn't. I'm scanning my notes very quickly, but you can do the math. You know how many employees, $12 a day, multiply that out, and it'll give you an annual cost of your number of employees. Do the turnover number, it's important. The productivity numbers. Businesses that have civil work environments outperform, they out innovate, and they outwork their competitors because the work environment isn't painful. What I know to be true is I don't want people going home on Friday and spending all day Sunday literally dreading the return to work on Monday. I've done more investigations, seen more bad behavior over the course of the last couple years than I have in my entire career. People are suffering, and it's time for us to fix the problem so that the workplace and the culture in the workplace is good for everyone. So if you like the video, share it. If you are an HR leader, I beg you, buy this book. I laid out the blueprint for you. Buy it for your team. Let's put it in place. Let's change the workplace once and for all and do it with a proven system that works. This is not inspirational. This is not one of those books that's going to just give you stories and quotes. It literally is the book that's going to guide you through the process to fix the culture in the workplace. I hope that helps. I'm going to come on with more videos. I'm going to walk you through information and steps and all of those things. But I wanted to put this one up so that you know that there is a solution, there is a system, and I'm here to do it with you. I'm here to make sure that we build workplaces that work and that are civil for all of our employees. The world has become not so kind. We're now seeing that come to fruition in the workplace. It's time for us to fix it so that the workplace is good for everyone across the board. Have a great day.